Welcome to the Hammond River Kids Fishing Club July meeting. This month's meeting is all about fly tying and fly fishing because of the regulation changes to the Hammond River. The CN train bridge to McGonagall Brook switches to fly fishing only on July 15th. We started with some native fish review to get their brain juices flowing, and then we did some water testing all together to ensure the water quality is ideal for fish. Next was a river safety review because we've had huge amounts of rain over the last week. Then it was time for a fly tying lesson with fisherman Phil. He taught the kids how to tie a Hammond River bug. He showed them his personal collection of fly rods and told them how to pick the perfect rod.
By wrapping around your thread like this, and that ties on the thread onto there, so then I can just leave it hang like that. So I've got it started right here. And so I cut off the excess, and the way you start your flies, you always start tying your fly down there at the bend of the hook. You don't start, this is called the eye, you don't start at the eye, you always start down at the bend, and then tie it forward because you want to finish at the eye. And it's going to stand up, see how it's making it look all spiky? You don't have to do anything, it just does that all by itself, just with the way the feather is, as long as you're not scrunching it in your hand. So do a little bit more, wrap, 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 like this. The spikier you want it, the more wraps you put, and then you finish right at the front like that, and then same thing as I just did before. 1, 2, oh, it's getting a little loose here again. And for bass, so this is a 5 weight, 9 foot. And see how I have my shad dart here, and I have a bass smuggler fly. It would also work for a big trout, but this rod here can be used for a bigger trout or a bass or a shad. This is my salmon rod, so it's an 8 weight, and see when it gets bigger and heavier, it's got a bigger handle, and this thing here is called a fighting butt. So that's for when you get a great big salmon on and you have your rod pressed against you. If you have that piece of metal against your chest, that would hurt. So this has a piece of cork that you can plant there, and so when you're holding on and your fish is going really fast, the fighting butt helps to be able to hold the rod and fight against the big fish. And see how it's heavier? And that can let it cast farther and stand up to a big salmon. And this is my 10 weight rod for striped bass and for muskies and stuff. And it throws bigger streamer flies like this that are really heavy when they're wet. So you need a thicker, heavier rod for that. And when you get a big striped bass on or something like that, you need to have your fighting butt, and you need to have a nice stiff rod to be able to get your fish in. But remember, what they talk about is that you're always going to have a small little leader. So it's not like normal fishing where you have a heavy line. You have a light line, so your reel needs to be able to provide you with a drag so that your fish doesn't just break the line. And that's what's special about fly fishing is you're using the bend of the rod, and you're using the line weight in order to cast your rod, and then you have a light leader so that you can present your fly and fool the fish into thinking that there's a bug there that he wants to eat.
Salmon like this rod can?
You would have a very hard time landing a big salmon on a 5 weight rod because it would just bend too much and you would have to play the fish for too long, which could end up killing the fish. And with salmon fishing, you're not trying to kill the fish and you're all having to eat them, right? So you want to use the rod that is designed for the fishing that you're going to do.
Or bigger.
Right, it's like you always want, for salmon fishing, I would recommend always taking a minimum of an 8 weight because then you get your fighting butt and you have the power in your rod to be able to hold up to a big fish. Because salmon fishing is all catch and rod also. When you're first learning, having a nice light rod like a 5 weight makes casting a lot easier. And you guys will see that when we try out some casting down there. I'll bring down my little 5 weight, which is very light, and you guys can try casting with my 5 weight rod, and it'll make things a lot easier for you to learn.
We finished the meeting with some fly fishing lessons and, of course, fishing in the river. The students watched a fly fishing demonstration and they got to practice it themselves on how to properly cast with a fly rod. We could not have the Kids Fishing Club without the support from our sponsor, the New Brunswick Wildlife Trust Fund. We thank you so much.